When a person makes a decision about something, the person's point of view is very important. The reason people make different assessments about the same thing is because they have different viewpoints. We often evaluate others according to our own gender stereotypes. For example, it is said that women should always look attractive, and men shouldn't cry no matter what. Gender sensitivity is defined as the ability to perceive that your thoughts are being influenced by gender stereotypes. By increasing your gender sensitivity, you will become more aware of whether you're using sexist language or sexist behaviors, so you can refrain from such behaviors and protect the dignity of others. Gender sensitivity is an essential social skill nowadays. So now on, let's take a look at certain behaviors you should be careful about based on gender sensitivity. Have you ever heard words that evaluate your appearance such as, oh, you're pretty, ugly, slim, or fat? Or have you ever said things like this to someone else? As a social trend has emerged in which appearance is considered to be a crucial resource, people have begun to judge others based on it. However, such remarks can be very offensive to others, and they may feel sexually humiliated. In Korean society, such remarks to others are considered sexual harassment. Paragraph 2 of Article 3 of the Framework Act on Gender Equality in Korea defines sexual harassment as follows. Sexual harassment is an act in which an employer or superior in situations such as performing a job, employment, or other relationship makes a person feel sexually humiliated or disgusted by sexual words or demands in connection with their work. In addition, various laws define sexual harassment as a crime, stating that it is an unlawful act. Therefore, you should always be vigilant, knowing that your sexual language and actions, even if they were intended as light jokes or pranks, could be a crime. Have you ever heard the term catcalling? Recently, many cases of catcalling have been posted on social networking services, and it is emerging as a social issue. Also known as street harassment, catcalling is a form of sexual harassment and open verbal abuse mostly aimed at women and girls, characterized by whistling, complimenting, or obvious staring. Movements to regulate catcalling are being initiated in many Western countries, and Korea is no exception. Paragraph 41 of Article 3 of the Minor Offences Act stipulates that continuous attempts to approach, observing the other party against their will may be subject to a penalty of not more than 100,000 won detention or a fine. Please do not forget that even if you think your language will not be understood by others, your remarks can be recorded, translated, and eventually lead you to the punishment. Let me give you an example. You're amazed to see an employee putting makeup on and took a picture. You saw some people wearing unique clothes on the street and took their pictures. Extraordinary sights in Korea can be very exciting to anyone, so people often take pictures of others unconsciously. However, you should take pictures that the other person doesn't consent to. In Korea, filming without the consent of the person is defined as illegal filming, and it is punishable as a crime of sexual violence. Recently, there have been many cases of posting photos or videos of others online without their consent. This is because many people don't treat this behavior as a sex crime. However, you must be aware that posting other people's photos on social media or online communities with their consent is also considered a crime of sexual violence and can be punished. Taking pictures or spreading them online without the other person's consent is also a violation of human rights, so you should always be careful. Also, if you see someone doing something like that, you should let them know it's a crime and stop them. In Korea, you will meet various people. If someone who could influence your business asks to have a drink with you, it's easy to turn them down. Many people probably can't say no easily because they worry their work will be affected. And sometimes unwanted and unpleasant physical contact may occur. Some people who ask you out for drinks may get the wrong idea and think that going out late and drinking together is a sign of agreeing to physical contact. But it's not a consent unless you have heard yes clearly. If the person doesn't say anything or keep silence, that's absolutely not a consent either. You have to make sure to accept only what the other party has clearly agreed to, not make assumptions about it. And always pay attention to whether the other party was somehow unable to or prevented from turning you down. This kind of physical contact doesn't just happen at only a drinking party. Everyone has their own physical and emotional boundaries. A physical boundary is a boundary for my body. In the case of touching another person's body, it means crossing the boundary, so you must attain the other person's consent. Giving someone a hug or patting their heads after some hard work together can be a violation of these boundaries. An emotional boundary is a boundary between someone's words and intentions. Questions about someone's relationship with their fiancé, words that force conversation about marriage or childbirth, and staring at someone's body can violate emotional boundaries. Even in our everyday life, you should know that in order to cross the boundaries of others, you must always obtain the other person's clear consent. So there are many different cultures, people, and cities. Perhaps when you come to Korea, you will experience a lot of unfamiliar circumstances. And in such unfamiliar situations, you may accidentally discriminate or hurt someone. So it is necessary to understand and learn about Korean culture, knowing that words and actions that are taken for granted by you may not be accepted in other cultures. Just like opening a map to learn your way around a new city, I hope you will use this lecture as a guide to build healthy relationships with others in Korea. If you treat people with respect, I'm sure you can have wonderful relationships in Korea.